Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So currently a pretty good day here in London. I'm at Oxford Street, which is one of the most famous streets, I guess, in London. But today I want to talk about something that's been in my mind for a while, and you know, it's quite an interesting and sensitive topic as well. And it is that, you know, when I was growing up in China, the government basically bans pornographic materials. So you don't have when you go online. Also, the government bans like things like DVD sales as well. So why? When I came over, obviously, to the UK, to the West, one of the big shocking thing is that, you know, pornographic stuff is not banned. So I always wondered why. Like, what's the reason behind that? Like, isn't it bad for you? And so I did some research online. I mean, obviously, like a lot of Asian countries, they ban this stuff. You know, whether it's Thailand, Philippines, I think is banned as well. Hong Kong may not be banned, I'm not sure. I have to double check. So a lot of Asian countries, they ban it. So basically, whereas here in the West, it's nothing. Nothing is. Everything is available. So, you know, internet. You know, back in the day, you had cable, right? Cable internet. So let me first bring the first section, which is topic is the is porn bad, right? We need to first agree on this. And porn, is it bad? So I did some research, and I'll put the link down below of the neuroscientist, I think she is. Basically, she's saying how bad porn is, and, you know, basically the gist of it I understood is, I'm not a scientist, but the gist of it is that she basically lowers your dopamine level, right? And also the fact that, you know, if you're doing it, you become addicted. It's like just a drug, you know. So if it's a drug, why is the government taking like such a relaxed stance on it, you know? She said that, I mean, this was really surprising to me, is that you can tell if a person watched it the previous day or not. She can tell it. Obviously, I don't think she can really tell it, but she says she can even tell it. And so why else is bad? It affects your productivity. You know, you become addicted. It's imagery, but it's very strong, and it's fake, and, you know, it's everything, right? Everything is bad for your mental health. It's bad for your health, right? Let's move on to the second part, and that is, if it's that bad, then why is it that governments in the West, they're not banning it? Well, you can say, number one, you can say, like, the first reason is like, oh yeah, freedoms of speech, man. Like, freedom of speech in the West, right? Men can do whatever they want as long as they're not hurting others, right? Also, you can say things like marijuana, you know, is not a very strong drug, so freedom of choice. But I don't think that argument really makes sense, because there's so many things you don't have freedom on, if you know. And the second point is, I think, is it the fact that people have underestimated the actual impact, right? The impact is not easy to measure. So how do you measure the impact of porn, right? It's not like, you know, drugs, you kill some people or whatever. Like, how do you measure porn, the impact of porn? You can't, right? A lot of times you can't. So let's say, for example, one of the negative impacts she brought up was the fact that, you know, your mind don't have so much productivity the next day, and it might impact your studies or your work, right? So does that really, how do you measure that? Like, you can only measure that if you're the person. Like, if you feel you're not productive, then maybe, yeah, you can say it's bad. But how do you measure it from a society level? You can't, it's difficult to measure that, right? For guns, let's say, for example, you can say, oh, there's this much gun violence, whatever. It's measurable, it's statistics, right? Porn is hard to measure. So, but then also I think the government is not spreading the message about this thing, right? So they're not actively saying, oh, don't do it, don't let's ban it. If you really think about the impact of porn, it's much higher than a few £100 of few $100 of energy bill rises. If you don't have good productivity, if you don't really work really well, how do you, like, that impact on your job is much higher than the impact of few £100, right? It's much bigger. So let me know what you guys think, because it's a very interesting topic. And I always wonder, because China bans porn, and I feel like definitely people definitely have this more productive mindset in them. I don't know if it's related. I think that bad things like need to be controlled, right? It's just people aren't talking about it because it doesn't make money. I mean, it makes money for the big companies, internet companies, right? It doesn't make money for them. So, right, for example, if you do that, if you ban it, who gains from it? It's like the whole society. But then, like, again, it's hard to measure, right? So that's it. I'm gonna record next video sometime. Let me know what you guys think.